Welcome to Cager Nation. This is Coach Hampshire. This is Cager All Access. Hey, glad you're with us. Had a great time last time. We talked about the commitment continuum or the athlete's commitment manual. This time we're going to talk about another component that I think is hugely important to any team, and especially to the Cagers. Something I picked up years ago while I was coaching college basketball. It is called the Code. And I renamed it to the Cager Code because I'm obviously the name of our team is the Cagers. But the Code, I think it's a brainchild. I know it's a brainchild of a head coach in Pennsylvania, Steve Landon. And when I went to coach for him years ago, I actually played for him as an assistant. And I went back to help him when he took over the job at Grove City College. He introduced me to the Code, and it is a list of 8 things. And I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but it's on my website, www.cagerhoops.com. You can see the Code. It's a list of 8 principles, and his reasoning was because at the college you get kids from all over the nation, all over the region, from different high schools, different backgrounds, and this is the thing that bound them together, the thing that they could all agree upon and be a part of, being new as they were being introduced to the philosophy of the program. Now these 8 things I think are hugely important. It's what I've done with the Cagers for 4 years. And it's difficult because honestly, coaches, I don't have a year-round program. It is like starting right after Thanksgiving, and I get them for, through February, maybe early part of March. And so it's hard in 2.5 months, basically, to put together something like this to make it a machine. But you can come up with something like this on your own. That's not necessarily these principles, but something like this to bind your team together as they come in a philosophy. So this is what it is, and I'm just going to run down through them really quickly. The Cager Code is, number 1, we listen with eyes and ears. That's something that it shows you, it really forces a kid to show respect and to listen. Not only to the words being said, but if their eyes are peeled on you, they'll be more apt to hear what you're going to say. Second one is we run on the floor. On and off the floor, I think that's something that's really lacking today. Too many kids watch pros and college, because those timeouts are longer. They're maybe a 2-minute timeout, where in high school you get 30 seconds or it's a minute. So I want the kids to fly off the court, sit down, we do our stuff, and get back on the court. Also has a huge thing to do with body language as well. We're on time for everything. Let's stick with that punctuality. We start on time, we end on time. We leave on time. That's just what we do. Not only at practices and games and stuff like that as far as start times and ending time, but also I want that in a basketball situation where the screen's on time, the pass is on time, the shot's on time. Okay, we're going to play on time. There's lots of principles here about being punctual. Okay, number 4, we're responsible for our actions. Again, as you coaches know, you can relate with me. Everybody has an excuse about something. It's never their fault. Always pointing the finger. No. And the Cagers are responsible for our actions, good and bad. So if you do something well, you're responsible for it. If you do something bad, you're responsible for it. Okay, number 5, we communicate, encourage, and acknowledge. Again, something I try and teach as best I can with the limited time I have is communicating. You can't text on a basketball coach. You coaches know that. You can't do it on the court. But you can talk. If you don't talk, I heard a coach say one time, a Division I coach down in the southern part of the United States, he told me, he said, a quiet gym's a losing gym. You need to communicate. Okay? Also, it values a person. You communicate to them, you call them by name, you acknowledge them. Okay, I'm huge on high fives. Okay, I'm huge on words of affirmation and edification. Okay, number 6, we never tolerate anything less than our best effort from ourselves and our teammates. Okay, again, something that's huge. Give your best effort all the time. Whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. That's what we're looking at. Number 7, we find solutions, not excuses. Again, no excuses. We find a solution. Okay, we're responsible for our actions. Let's find a solution. I could tell stories in all these principles, but this one here, sometimes it's amazing when you give the kids an opportunity to use your brain power, what can happen. Okay, someday maybe I'll tell you my book. If you read my book, Character Code in the Cager Way, I talk about illustration there where actually one of our players figured out the game plan. He figured it out during a timeout, what we could do to beat this particular defense. They figured it out, and we ended up winning the game. Then we do and say the right thing. Again, all these principles you can translate to life. This is what I demand out of my players. I make them memorize it before they can play the first game. They have to memorize this either verbally to me or they have to write it down. Exactly how it's written on here. I would encourage you to come up with your own code. The values that you see in your program that would be beneficial to not only binding the team together, but also moving them forward as a team and ultimately as young men or young women. So I just want to talk about the code. That's what it is. Again, it's explained more, Character Code the Cajun Way, about how this operates and how this can be effective in a team setting. Again, appreciate you being here, coaches, and I look forward to talking with you again. Go Cajuns.